Good evening, and welcome back to this week's episode of It's My Turn Now. Certainly glad to have you as we're wrapping up 2023, looking forward to 2024. And this is a very exciting time of year. However, for some, it's a time of reflection, some positive reflection. Some are focusing on the holidays, some are focusing on the gifts they want to give, some are focusing on the gifts that they want to receive. And there's some who are feeling down and lonely because there's someone that will not be at the dinner table that was there on last year. So we want to speak on the subject on tonight, dealing with our the holiday season and our mental health. Many times people are not aware of how others are affected by the holiday season, and our guests can talk about that more. There are people who are dealing with seasonal depression and certain elements and certain emotional challenges that they have this time of year. And so we just want to address those and want to encourage you as you go through the holiday season so that you'll have the best holiday season of the year. And so we want you to just sit back and enjoy. Feel free, as we tell you each week, please feel free, share the broadcast, share with someone. Feel free to give comments. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know what your thoughts are. This time, I'm going to bring our guest on tonight. She's no stranger. This is not her first time. And she always adds so much volume and value to each segment every time she comes. That's why we're so glad to have her once again. Kelly Lynn Jones. Welcome to It's My Turn Now, Kelly.
Thank you. It's my turn now.
It certainly is, yes. Tell us a little about yourself, Kelly.
Well, I am a psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner, which means that I assess, evaluate, and treat people with psychiatric and mental health disorders. Right now, I work in Anderson, Indiana, in a community mental health facility, and I treat people with severe mental illnesses. Uh, Bipolar 1, schizophrenia, and then I also treat people with anxiety and depression. I treat adolescents and adults. Probably my oldest patient is in their 80s.
Wow. Okay. I would just happen to meet a gentleman today, and he was sharing with me how he is dealing with so much depression and anxiety. I just happened to meet him uh, in a restaurant. He knew nothing about me, and somehow he felt to come up to me and tell me that about him dealing with depression and anxiety. There are so many people who are hurting. I guess people just need someone to talk to, someone to reach out to, and I guess they see someone who's willing to listen. I guess for some reason, he felt that I was that person that he could reach out to and listen to. So, but just tell me what some of your experiences during the holiday.
Well, I start getting busy in the fall, and in December, I have been very busy, and today is no exception. A lot of people are dealing with so many issues during the holidays. For some people, the holidays, it's a great time. It's a time of happiness. It's a time of joy. It's a time of celebration. But for other people, it is not. Some people don't like the holidays. Maybe they've had childhood traumas and didn't have a good holiday, and so this is a reminder of that. Or for some people, they may have lost a loved one or ended a relationship or a friendship. And so the holidays are very difficult. For other people, there are financial stressors that make this holiday not enjoyable or something to look forward to. Also, families are getting together, and maybe there's family members that you don't necessarily want to see. And so boundaries need to be set, for holiday gatherings. There's so many reasons why this time can be quite stressful and hurtful for people.
And I think that you're right on point with what you're saying. But I think I want to start off on a positive note and then go into some of the many challenges that people face during holiday. And I was looking, some of the positive aspect is the social connections. That holidays often provide opportunities for increased social interactions, spending time with loved ones, and friends can foster a sense of belonging and support, which can positively impact mental well-being. So for some people, they look forward to that time. Sometimes relatives travel from out of town and they get together, and that's a very positive event for them. So these are some of the positive aspects of it. It's a joyous celebration. There are people who are friendly who may have not been all friendly throughout the years. Sister Wallen said, praise the Lord, everyone. God bless Sister Wallen. Sister Wallen says she shared. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate each week we have a number of people. We're seeing more and more people that are sharing, and we certainly appreciate that. Also, it says joy and celebration holidays are typically associated with joy, celebration, and relaxation. Engaging in festive activities and taking a break from routine can contribute to feelings of happiness and reduce stress. One of the things about the holiday season that I enjoyed when I was working AT&T was those holidays off. Some people appreciate the holidays because they can get a few extra days off. However, there are some people who actually have to work on the holidays. So again, there's a flip side to everything. There's those who are saying, "Hey, I'm having time off," and there's those that, "Hey, I've got to work." Especially those in the medical field. I remember I worked at the hospital at one time, and we had to work. And there are doctors and individuals who have to work. Then I worked at AT&T one time years ago. I used to be a telephone operator, and every year they would play a video with my picture on there, because I guess I may have been the only male in the office at the time. But every Christmas they would have me on there. They pull a tape. But for years, because I was low in seniority, I had to work holidays, so it was kind of difficult. Also, there's culture and spiritual significance. It says for many, holidays hold cultural or spiritual importance. Engaging in rituals and traditions can provide a sense of continuity and purpose, contributing to a positive mental outlook. So there are a lot of things, but I think it depends on where you're at. It depends on your family dynamics. Many times, if you have a healthy family structure, that can be very pleasant. If you have an unhealthy family structure, it can be difficult. So I'm going to ask you, and if those who are watching, if you have any comments, please let us know what your thoughts are. So when you think about the holiday season, are you feel like you're dealing a lot of stress? A lot of times, Kelly, a lot of people are stressed because they try and buy everybody gifts. And do I have enough money? And I think sometimes the parents' desire to please their children can be very stressful, because children can be very demanding, and kids don't always understand. Mom and dad don't have the money to buy those. I don't know. I'm old till my age. I don't know if a Nintendo. I don't know what kind of games they have now. Xboxes. I don't know what it is, but those things are expensive. And so, sometimes parents are just under stress trying to. We think of Christmas. Sometimes people think of Christmas as have to spend money. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there are so many good things, as you said, that can happen around the holidays. I had a work event last week, and so we went around and shared what our favorite parts of the holidays were. And I loved listening to all the family traditions. So it's a time to celebrate family traditions. People bake cookies or make gingerbread houses, or, do white elephant gift exchange, or spend time with family members from all across the country. They all, get together. For me, I told them I always enjoyed going home for Christmas, because I worked out of town for so many years in California, and I would go home for Christmas every year. But there's so many traditions that people can celebrate during the holidays. Also, a time to, as you said, relax and vacation. For some people, it's a time to go on vacation as a family. They go to
Mhm.
warmer climates because, especially those of us from the Midwest and northern states, we like to go where the warmth is.
Sounds
Also,
real good. Sounds real good right about now. I can go for that. Yes.
Absolutely. And a time to bond for the children. I saw a lot of children today because school is ending, or for some of them, they're already on the holiday break. But school has
Mhm.
been very stressful, so they're looking forward to just relaxing and regrouping and a new start. A new year
Right.
is coming, and so there's so much that we can be thankful for, and the beautiful decorations. There's a lot of free things happening. In my town, I live in McCourtsville, Indiana, but we have like a tree lighting celebration, and if you look on Facebook or social media, every single day, just about there's something going on and ways that you can celebrate this joyous season.
Okay, very good. I was looking, I guess we have to talk about the negative aspects. We talk about positive, but it seemed like there are some things that we have to address, and hopefully, and if those who are watching, if there's a question that you have, maybe that's a concern that you have, and sometimes people, when it comes to family, there's communication issues, and some people are reluctant. Should I go over here? Should I mean? There's so many dynamics. I've heard someone that they lost a loved one, and so they're saying, should I go over to their family's house this year for the holiday? And so some things we don't think about. These are some of the questions and challenges that people are having. And so one negative says stress and pressure. The holiday season can bring added stress due to factors such as gift shopping, family gathering, and event planning. The pressures to create a perfect holiday experience may contribute to anxiety. So many people are trying. Is there such a thing? I want to call you Dr. Jones. Is such a thing as a stress-free holiday?
I haven't heard of it, but I think there are things that we can do. We can be strategic to making sure that our holiday is as stress-free as possible, such as not planning on a perfect holiday, because there is no such thing as a perfect holiday. So just allow yourself to, you know, be gracious to yourself. Don't have expectations that are not realistic, as far as the even like the tree, the decorations, the parties that you are going to plan. Like there are things that are gonna go wrong. Also, being mindful and strategic in your planning. So, if you are going to, two or three holiday parties, what does that look like? Like, get your outfits together, get your gifts together, make sure you have babysitters for the children. Just making sure that you plan ahead and that you are not rushing into these holiday events that is going to create more stress. Also, you want to come up with a budget. Like
Yeah,
you
that's
need to
important. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. You need to look at the things that you need. So you need to pay for the place that you live in. So you also, if you have a vehicle or transportation, or how are you going to get around, your food, all those needs need to be factored in first. And then from that, if you have extra, what are you able to buy as far as the wants? And be realistic. I would not go in debt during the holiday season. For me and for others that are Christians, it is about giving, but we want to be mindful that we don't have to go broke in order to celebrate the holiday. And giving is not always just financial. You can give your time. Like if you don't
Hmm.
have money, you can give your time. Like, for me, if somebody wanted to come clean my house and my family, I'll get my own gifts. Come clean my house for me. Come, help me organize some things in my house. There's a lot of creative ways that you don't even have to spend money, but your time is more valuable than
Right.
anything, and so many times. But yeah, just being mindful of all those things around the holiday. It should be a joyous time. You should not be stressed as much as possible during the holidays.
Right. And I think you're right. Is some people put undue stress. I tell people, my friends and family, I don't want you to go broke buy me a gift. However, those of you that have friends, some of the pastors, y'all got plenty of money. Y'all can feel free to buy me something, and those, if you can buy a person something and it doesn't affect, as you were saying, take care of your bills before you take care of anything else, because there's no sense. And after the holidays, you're behind. I've heard vendors that it takes 6 months to a year for them to get caught up from buying Christmas gifts. That's um, unrealistic expectations from you or whoever's receiving the gift. I don't want anybody to go broke giving me a gift. I tell you, if you're gonna go broke, give me a gift. Give me a card. If you can't buy a card, make a card. But however, I'm gonna say it again. If you got money, because a lot of my friends they do have money now. Because just in case you listen, I want you to feel, if you can afford it and it don't put a dent in your pocketbook, go ahead and add me to your Christmas list. I have no problem with that. But I do, on a serious note, I don't want anyone to go broke. And sometimes people expect equal giving. Some person are able to give more, and some people are able to give less. A person who is not able to give, or someone who has a lot to give, should not expect that person who has a lesser means to give equally given. And if you're giving just to get something back, then you're actually losing the significance of the holiday. We have to be aware of really the significance and meaning behind the holiday. And that's something else we could talk about too. I don't know, we talked about, I had a conversation with someone just this weekend. There are a lot of people who have negative thoughts when it comes to Christmas and Christmas buying, and some people consider paganistic holiday, things like that. I think that anytime that you want to recognize the birth of Jesus Christ, whether it's in December, January, or July, I think it's a good time. Anytime you recognize it. I remember one time Paul said on one occasion where they preached, call Christ of contention or whatever, nevertheless Christ is being preached. So if people are taking the holiday and if people are taking holiday and they're celebrating in December, and there's those who say, well, Christmas not December, hey, that's all right. Just the fact that they're recognizing Christ is all about Christ and not about the gifts. So Sister Deborah Menor, God bless Sister Menor. Welcome to This My Turn Now. She's, amen. Take care of your current obligation first. Try not to put things on credit card. Those bills and others will be looking at you in January and the coming months. God does not want us to press. So true. And I'm going to say this, I used to do that. I mean, I put everything on my credit card, and man, it's a good feeling to put it on a credit card. But man, when you get that first bill statement, man, and you can get so caught up in to get this person, that person, and you can max your credit card out. And that's what I used to do years ago. And then I remember one year I said, you know what? I'm paying cash. And when I run out of money, that's it. If I don't get to you by the time I run money, so be it. And that year, it seems like for some reason everyone enjoyed the gift that much more than any other year. And I made my mind from then going forward, I'm not going to break myself, and I haven't broken myself. And it feels good that to be able to pay cash. And if you don't have the money, now if you want to charge, maybe some people want to charge a little bit, a small amount. But I certainly wouldn't charge a whole. I'm not telling people don't charge at all. Of course, some people actually believe that finances, you shouldn't owe any debt at all. And I believe try to be as debt free as you can. But I certainly have gotten to the point where I'm not going to go broke. I'm not going to go broke. And I try to buy practical gifts too. Let me see. Sister Jamie says, I enjoy listening to the nurse practitioner who deals with mental health. She started a number of things such as bipolar, schizophrenia, anxiety, and depression. Many tried to classify just the first two, and the other two are also an illness that is treated by therapy medication. But by the grace of God, it could be anyone. Thank you for sharing that with us, Sister Jamie. We appreciate that. Sister Jamie always gives positive information, and she's always transparent, and we certainly appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I used to, when my kids were younger, participate in a Christmas club at my credit union. And so every paycheck I would take out, I don't know, it's probably $100. So what would I have? Maybe don't make me do math on the air. I'm not sure, but I probably have. I think I would set up for, depending on what I want, but like 12 to maybe $2,400, for the year. But just putting a little bit away at a time, or
Hmm.
I don't know which stores have layaway, but and of course Christmas is a week away, but putting stuff on layaway and just paying for it a little bit at a time. But also, how about if, as a family, volunteering at the Salvation Army or the food pantry, or whatever activity you like? I mean, how about sponsoring a family that, is in need? My children and I would do that, and I was a single mother, divorced, but we would sponsor a family, and we would get their list. My church used to do that, Eastern Star Church, and we would get whatever those items were, and on that list. And so my children knew that you were not going to get as much this year, because we are blessing this family that has less than us. And so there's so many ways to give. The hospitals need volunteers, the soup kitchens need volunteers. There's so many places that if you don't have financial things that you can give, again, your time, your talent, your gifts. If some women are really crafty, sewing things, making things, you can even involve your kids in that. Kids love doing, for the most part, if they're trained, love doing things for other people. And that gives them a sense of purpose and fulfillment and meaning. It makes them feel really good. And so they won't be so focused on what you're going to give them, but more what they can give other people, which is really the true meaning of Christmas and what it's all about.
Very good. Now I'm still scratching my head over you saying that you were able to take $100, because I was able to take $25. It was killing me at one time. I take 25, had Christmas saving 25, and probably by the time June came, I was borrowing from that, and then you have a penalty for that. So, but it's a blessing. I think if people are able to do that, then that's tremendous, because you don't have it takes a burden of having to come up with so much money, and you already had that money at your disposal to spend. So I think that's a tremendous idea. I think volunteering, teaching your kids, teaching your family, it's not about receiving, it's about giving as well. So I think it's so important that
Mhm.
we understand that it's good to give. It is, and it really is rewarding. I was talking to someone just the other day. When we were coming up, we used to do what they call Christmas caroling,
Mhm.
and we would
Mhm. Mhm.
go to different houses, especially
Yeah.
senior citizens or people that were home bedridden. We would go outside and we would sing carols. We have a group of people. We would sing carols to them, and these are things that you can do. It doesn't cost anything, and
Mhm.
even to this day, I remember. And we have people who still remember it to this day. How we would go out and Christmas caroling, and sometimes even people come and offer us something. They didn't have anything, some eggnog or something like that. They were so grateful for that. So there are a lot of things you can do. Let me see. Pastor Amos, he says, it appears that, just what Amos says, it appears that more and more Christ is taken out at Christmas. Your thoughts? You're so right. Christ, and even when they say Xmas, and so
Mhm.
that means that we, the church, and I'm going to let you say, respond to Sister Jones. We, the church, have to make sure that our focus is on the Christ. When the world is not focused on Christ, we can put Christ back into Christmas. That's one of those friends that I was saying that got plenty of money that he can put me on his Christmas list if he wants to. So when I'm telling people don't break yourself, give me something, that's one of the ones that I want you to feel free to splurge on.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we certainly need to put Jesus Christ back in Christmas. And one of the things that I like to do when my children were little was just to read them Christmas stories. And we start off in the book of Matthew. I mean, all the Gospels talk about
Mhm,
the
mhm,
Christmas story. And there now, I don't know, I'm sure most people probably have the Bible app or U version downloaded on their phones. And so every single day you can read a scripture that reminds us about the birth of Jesus and how all of it came about. And in the Old Testament, all the prophets, Isaiah and Micah, that prophesied many 700 years before the birth of Christ. So just teaching our children, they don't know. They're not going to know unless we tell them. So teaching them about Christmas and why we celebrate it and the true meaning of Christmas, and just learning about, how Mary was, pregnant with the Holy Spirit, teaching them all those things so they really have a better understanding. The questions will be like, well, where did Santa Claus come from? And where did all this, you know, other things come from, and teaching them about the wise men and how they brought gifts to Jesus. I got to go to Israel last year, thank God, before all of
Awesome.
the war and stuff, broke out, and they had beautiful nativity scenes and just all over Israel, that they were selling. And also I got to see where Jesus was, the site where they think that he was born in Bethlehem. And that was just amazing. I mean, that really, just solidified what Christmas really was all about. And you talk about the manger and the humble beginnings. I mean, that is the Savior of the world. He could have been born anywhere, but it was just a humble place that, for a king. And so if, God could humble himself and wrap himself in humanity and come to, the world, surely we are certainly not greater than he, and that we can, humble ourselves and just make sure that we remember him in the celebration of Christmas and put him back in there. We don't have to have all these extravagant things. It doesn't matter, all these outwardly things. It's what matters is the heart. There's a
Right.
scripture that talks about God looks at the heart. Man looks at the outside, but God is, I think it's in Samuel, looks at the
So
heart.
true. Right. One of the things that you said, and I think we need to take and pause and reflect. You talk about your trip to Israel, and right now with all the turmoil in Israel, I was watching where they were saying that they're not going to have the normal, it's used a very festive time
Yes.
period when they have a lot
Right.
of, Bethlehem and things like that celebration.
Yes.
But because of the war that's going on there, it's not going to be the same. And so we have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are a lot of people who are war torn areas, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Christmas is also a time to reflect just how blessed we are.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't get gifts, it's that we have the greatest gift of all, and that's our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ come into
Yes.
our lives, and we can focus on that. And again, as you were mentioning, we are talking about Santa Claus. How we connect Santa Claus with Christmas, and I mean that part can be considered a pagan if you want to, but we still it does not negate the fact that Christ was born, and we're reflecting, and that's what we're celebrating. And there are those who are legalistic, say, well, he wasn't born in December, this and that. Well, I agree with that. I give them that. But we know he was born, and we can
Mm-hmm.
celebrate that
Right.
anytime, and recognize that it can be in December, it could be in July, wherever. So
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. The date does not matter, but the meaning and the reason that he came, is what Christmas is all about, and just the love of Christ. I mean, the main thing that I, think about when I think about Christmas is how God loved us, that He gave His only Son, and so we need to also be able to, give. And when you start doing for others and giving, it really is a very effective coping mechanism. When you are depressed and looking, and I understand that depression is a chemical imbalance, and it can certainly be hereditary. It can be
right.
genetic. It can be environment. I understand all of that, but there are ways. Not medication is one way, and then we also have therapy. But then there are also coping things that you can do. But giving to other people and connecting. One of the things, I was talking to several of my patients today, they are just lonely and isolated at this time, and I was telling them that, isolation is an enemy of depression. Like, you get healed when you connect with people. Like, make
Right.
sure that you are connecting with people during the holidays. I do understand that everybody's got a crazy aunt or uncle or somebody in their family,
Right.
and you do have to set boundaries. You have to
Mhm.
set boundaries, but also make sure that you are connecting.
Mhm.
Some people have ineffective coping, so they start drinking during the holidays or whatever, abusing substances to take away the loneliness. So we want to make
Mhm.
sure that we are mindful of that, and even just eating too much and overindulging in caffeine that is going to keep us awake at night.
Mhm.
just being mindful of those ineffective coping strategies that sometimes we can adapt or, during the holidays.
Right, I was just going to address that right here. It says loneliness, while holidays emphasize the social connection, some individuals may experience feelings of loneliness, especially if they are separated from loved ones or do not have a strong social support system. It's a time that it seems like people feel like that they have to be connected to someone. They have to have a significant other in their life. But you can be able to enjoy your family. You don't have to necessarily feel like I have to have someone, a significant other, in order to be happy. And I think that's a false sense that people may feel that, especially singles, at this time, say if I don't have someone to celebrate the holiday with, I'm not really having a good time. People talking about mistletoes and everywhere. I don't know if you hear mistletoe anymore because you have to be careful now. It misses all that stuff. So, but I mean that's the sense of the holiday season, where it's joyful occasion for some. It could be a sense of loneliness and isolation, feel like, hey, I don't have anybody to celebrate the holiday with. And so, and it could be true. Some people are self-isolation. They may not have the person be able to spend a holiday with the person they want to, but there are plenty of people that you can find to spend a holiday with, like you were saying, that you can volunteer, you can give your time. There are a lot of social people have social gatherings, now with Facebook and all these things on Facebook. There's a social page, a lot of events going on, different things that you can do, to enjoy yourself, and maybe just invite someone with you, invite a friend. Doesn't have to be a girlfriend, boyfriend, but just invite someone with you. Say, hey, listen, I'm going to this event. Would you like to go with me?
Yes, absolutely. Taking a friend is always good. There are some people that, I've been single for a very long time, so I'm comfortable going alone. But for those who are not, yes, absolutely bring a friend along with you. And some people have social anxiety, so they are not comfortable in
Mhm.
spaces where there are people that they don't know or in crowds of people, many people. Even going to the grocery store can be difficult. So if that is, an issue for you, absolutely grabbing a friend or just making sure that you are calling ahead, who's going to be there at the party so you can be comfortable around those people. And then just knowing yourself, knowing your limits, maybe
Mhm.
you can go, but just stay, for an hour and then you're going to have to leave. Or for some
Mhm.
people, I have to give them medication before I give them medication as needed and they take it, I'd say take it, a half an hour before you have to be in a social setting that makes you a little bit anxious. But absolutely. And then if, you know, you don't like going out, maybe you can have something at your own house. You can create a social environment that is comfortable for you and invite who you want. You can be in control that way.
Yeah.
But the main thing is to making sure that we connect and that we do not isolate ourselves during the holidays, because again, that is isolation is an enemy to depression, and it will not. Your depression does not heal without the connection. Even you think about a newborn baby being left alone, in a crib, that baby, and they might be fed, but if they don't get that social connection, that baby isn't going to thrive. They are not going to, grow as fast. They're not going to gain the weight as I mean, we are born for connection. We are created for connection. That's why God created us. And so we have to do that in order to have the best healthy, you know, healed life.
And that social anxiety is a serious thing. And sometimes people minimize that, but I have seen individuals who will break out into a sweat when it comes to anything social speaking or being around social people, new environments. Physically, it affects them physiologically, and so we have to be aware of that. And some people cannot handle that. And
Right.
so I think it's important that we, like I said, are able to spend time with other people, uh, family, friends, and there's a lot of groups of things that you can get involved in. Sister Howard, hold on just a second. She says, "Praise the Lord, very good advice. Location is an enemy. Isolation is the enemy. I totally like what I'm hearing. Yeah, isolation can magnify your anxiety. It can magnify your depression. It can magnify a greater sense of loneliness that you're by yourself. And sometimes people choose to allow themselves. Well, I'm just going to not bother with anyone. But I think it's important that you surround yourself with positive people. If there are people who are unhealthy for you, then that doesn't help. That can make it even worse. So we have to be very careful. You see, Sister Jamie says, for your guest bishop, so what can you say pertaining all the people who just don't celebrate Christmas, for instance, Jehovah's Witnesses and Muslims, etc., and many other religions that they may be listening and would like to hear a word of comfort on their behalf? And she's directing that to you.
Okay, for those that don't celebrate Christmas, well, what family traditions do you have? It may not be, the Christmas trees and celebrating the birth of Jesus, but what traditions do you have? It doesn't matter the tradition as long as you are connecting with other people. So, um, I have Jehovah's Witnesses and Muslims in my family, and neither of them celebrate Christmas, but they have their own um, holidays that they celebrate. Or for Jehovah's Witnesses, sometimes maybe after the Christmas holiday they get together and just exchange gifts, or they get together and they cook. They do similar things, but they just don't call it a celebration of Christmas. But um I have uncles and first cousins that are Jehovah's Witnesses, and also, like I said, Muslim. And they do celebrate the holidays, but they have their own separate traditions, and, honor who you are and, what you believe. So I would just say that, and then find like minded people too. Like, my uncle goes to a mosque, and so him and his wife, they get with people from their community, their Muslim community, and they celebrate in their own way. And I don't even want to. I know there's yeah, I don't want to misspeak, but I know there's sometime around the holiday that my uncle doesn't, like, there's certain times that he does and doesn't eat. So, and we make sure that we, when he comes over our house, that we have foods that are agreeable to what he eats, because he
Right.
doesn't eat pork. Um, and so just making sure, if you are going to be around people during the holidays, that you let them know, during these holidays I don't, whatever it is that you do or do not believe or celebrate. And so making sure that your traditions and your beliefs are also honored.
Right. And you cannot not be affected by a holiday where you're a Muslim, Jehovah's. It affects you because everybody around you are
Mhm.
engaging. So it's going to affect you. You don't have to engage to the same levels they do, but you again, I think from what Jamie's saying, it's good for us to be aware of that. I think it's to have
Mm.
awareness that everybody doesn't view the holiday in the same vein that you do. But I want you to talk about the subject of what a lot of people are not aware of. It's called seasonal depression. Share with us a little bit about seasonal depression.
So, seasonal depression disorder, we also call it SAD,
Mm-hmm.
is a mood disorder that usually takes place beginning in the fall. And it is depression. And patients can have irritability and low motivation, just sad, crying. And it usually lasts until the spring, and it can be treated with medication and also therapy. But the reason why a lot of the times it happens is because, of course, in the winter it is getting dark earlier, the days are shorter, the nights are longer, the weather is colder, you are inside more, you're not connecting with people as more because you're not getting out, you have less vitamin D from less exposure to the sun. Um, And it is a real thing, and it happens to many people that
A
they
lot
get
of people.
sad. Yeah, and I also see it, and again, I treat children. I see it in children as well, that they get sad around the wintertime, like
Mhm.
clockwork. The fall, my calendar will book up much faster, and I have a lot more patience with, those symptoms.
Right, right. And during holiday season, there are a lot of people, like I said, who are dealing with a lot of things, not only seasonal depression, but sometimes a holiday can trigger emotions. And for some people, it's a time of reflecting on when it was a child positive holidays. There's some people who reflect on their maybe the childhood wasn't the best, and maybe it triggers those negative feelings. Maybe it triggers the fact that they've lost a loved one. I lost a sister in July, and it has affected me because she and I were pretty close, and her family, we all get together, we come over to our house, for Christmas holiday, and we used to do it every year until before the pandemic, and this was the first year that we felt comfortable of being able to have everyone. So I was looking forward to her coming over. She was looking forward to coming over, and so there are those situations like that are affecting a lot of people because I'm in the back of my mind, that's what I'm thinking about. Boy, when she was here, and there are a lot of people who have loved ones that are not at the dinner table this year, and they're reflecting on them, and Christmas is not the same. When you have people who are significant in your life and they're no longer there, and it can affect your Christmas. And so what you try to do is you try to go on uh, and enjoy yourself, but by the same time, be mindful of this person who is no longer with us. Sister
Right.
Brown says, "Praise Lord, saints. God bless Sister Brown." She says, "Amen." And so it's difficult, and I have lost a lot of family members, a lot of friends in the last year. A number of friends in the last year, and I think another thing too is when people lose loved ones around the holiday season. That to me, it seems like, man, that's me. That's extremely traumatic
Mhm.
for them.
Absolutely. Um, I recently just lost two aunts, and one of my aunts, she had a one daughter and a granddaughter, and everybody grieves differently.
True, true.
Uh, her daughter is going through her mother's things, and she's putting them away and giving them away. But for her
Mhm.
granddaughter, she wants to go through all the items, look at the photos, look at the clothes. Like, that's therapeutic for her. And
Right.
so just allow yourself to grieve. And nobody grief is not linear. It doesn't look the same. It is different for every single
Mhm.
person, but
Right.
allow yourself to grieve however that looks. And if you need help, certainly seek help. I had um, someone that I know, their child passed away, and this year they put up a tree in honor of their child, and they had ornaments that
Mhm.
the child had made, and they had pictures of the child made into ornaments, and that was therapeutic for them. So, just find a way to honor the memory of your loved one, and to
Right.
be able to move through the holidays celebrating them and honoring them, their life. and
Mhm.
and I know that can be difficult for people.
Right. The main thing we want to make sure that people find ways to enjoy, and you can is your thought what you focus on. Mindfulness.
Hmm.
Be mindful what you focus on. I tell people, if you focus on negative, that's all you're gonna see is negative.
Hmm.
But if you focus on the positive aspect of things, you are to have very quality. But before I go any further, I want to acknowledge my first sponsor. You see the shirt that I have on? It says "It's my turn now." My first
Yes.
sponsor, who's sponsoring with the T-shirt and other T-shirts come, but somebody else wants to be a sponsor. I have another person who makes T-shirts. They're saying, "Hey, they're wanting to be a sponsor." But this is by Michelle Daly. She has MAAK Apparel, and I'll put her email address in the box here. But this beautiful shirt, if you want one, I'll put her email in there. You can see it. Very nice T-shirt.
Nice.
It's my
Yes.
turn now. I like it. And so that's my first sponsor. I kind of like the idea of a sponsor. Somebody else wants to sponsor a spot. Hey, because you start your own practice, you might want sponsor a spot. I kind of
Okay.
like this. So feel free, but
Yes.
you can say it's my turn now to sponsor it. But
Okay.
this conversation, I think, is something that's needed because why we're able to talk about this. Some people that's real is real near and dear to them, and the struggle is real. The struggle is real. Financial would be financial, emotional. Some people have plenty of money, but they don't have
Mhm.
a lot of finance. I remember when I used to work with suicide and crisis line, the number of suicide conversations went up during the Christmas holiday season. And so
Mhm.
I would encourage everyone, check in with your family, check
Mhm.
and see their emotional state. I was talking to someone today and they were telling me that they said someone had talked to them a number of times, I'm gonna commit suicide, I'm gonna commit suicide. And I share with them, they said, well, they're not gonna commit suicide because they were going to do, they wouldn't talk about it. But I said, I share with them, and you can go into that. When a person is talking about suicide, we don't want to take that for granted. Most times they're
Mhm.
preparing themselves. They're
Mhm.
trying to hear what you're saying, how you're going to
Mhm.
respond. Don't
Mhm.
take it for granted.
Mhm.
Anybody who says they're committing
Mhm.
suicide, check with your family. Check with people whose behaviors is different. Sometimes people,
Mhm.
change their behavior. Maybe they're quiet. Maybe they're giving away things, and
Mhm.
just be aware of those things because you just never know. Someone may have lost a loved one.
Mhm.
Just let's, I guess, stay in connect with each other,
Yes. Yes.
family, friends. Stay connected with them. Let people know that you're concerned about them and you're thinking about
Mhm.
them.
Absolutely. Send a text message to all the people that you love and care about, and check on people. You never know what people are going through. The people that seem like they are on top of the world, um it can be one thing that can devastate them, or it can be something that's been going on that you had no idea over time. But I never ever ever would take someone threatening to hurt themselves or anybody else. um, I would always take that serious. Do not ever take that lightly. Do not ever blow that off, even if they've tried, even if they've never tried. You always want to ask them, do you have a plan to hurt yourself? Do you
Right,
have an intention to hurt yourself? And if they say yes to a plan or an intention to hurt themselves, then you um, need to make sure that they are safe and then get them help. Because if someone has a plan to hurt themselves or an intention to hurt themselves, that is not to be taken lightly. They are crying for help. And
right,
please do not ignore their cry. Do not ignore their cry. There are so many um, places that can, we live in Indiana, but there are so many places that we have that can help and evaluate and get that person treated, but never take that lightly. But yes, do call, send a text, send a message, just let people know you're thinking about them. Especially sometimes you'll think so and so crossed my mind. I'll call them tomorrow or next, but try as best you can when they cross your mind to send them a text. Hey, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're well.
right,
You
right.
know? Or-
Now, it's Janae Brown. She's put a list of names. I'm not sure what these names of these individuals you want to pray for. She's put quite a few names. Let me see. She says Lori Brown, Lisa Renee, Titus Williams, Daryl Courtney, Gary Savage, a number of names. Also, she put Errolus Steele. I'm not sure why you put those names on there. Maybe you want to pray from them. That's okay. Just let us know what the names were. Sister Howard says, very true that suicide spirit is real, uh, as point blank. That's true. As Sister Howard said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask someone. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't want to ask the person if they're thinking about committing suicide because that may encourage them." No, that would not encourage them. They're going to commit suicide. Uh, it helps to engage with someone if they're thinking about committing suicide. It helps that individual to engage with someone to talk to because they're hurting, silently, but they need maybe someone to talk to. Okay, she said to listen to. Oh, very good. She said, I tagged them all because this is important information. Thank you. If anybody else want to tag somebody, share. I appreciate you sharing. She said this is important information. Uh, Again, I'm encouraging everyone to share this program. If you're sharing, if you like it, put some hearts up there or some likes, and let us know that you appreciate it. We have different topics each week, and some topics get more attention, but there are some topics that are very serious. This topic right here, we're realizing that it's very serious because there are a lot of people who are just dealing with stress during this holiday season, and they need a lot of support. If you know someone that needs support, there are a lot of agencies out there that can help people. I'm going to read this right here, and then it said, "It is so disquieting that this season has a high number of depressed people considering the holiday, but we have to pay attention." And there are a lot of suicides during this time of year, and so that's something we have to. This is Brown. So yes, that's something we have to take. It's a reality. It's a fact, and sometimes we don't want to deal with it. It's better to deal with it now than to have to deal with it later. And if you thank somebody, if you have the slightest remote thought the person's committing suicide or thinking about committing suicide, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hesitate. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think, and Kelly, I don't think this person's going to be offended if you say, you know what, have you thought about committing suicide? That just lets them know what you're concerned about. They might say, hey, no way, and that's fine, but just let them know. Sister Barry said, be concerned, have empathetic ears. So true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just send them a text like, or if sometimes people even on social media post stuff that are kind of like cries for help. So I would say to them, are you in private? Are you okay? Your text was kind of concerning. I just want to make sure that you're doing okay. Like, how are you doing? And and really, and don't call them when you're in a super big hurry, but make sure, and I
Right.
would try to call them or do a FaceTime so you can look at them and make sure that they are okay, and be an active listener and let them know that you are there for them and speak life into them. So many people are hurting and are down on themselves and just feel like a failure, or like their life has no meaning, their life has no purpose, that no one's going to miss them if they are gone. And
True.
just reassuring them that their life does have meaning and their life does have purpose. But
Right.
sometimes they are in such a deep depression that they just cannot see themselves out of that. And that's when we want to get them professional help and get them evaluated, because they may need to be inpatient somewhere or be on medication. So, but at least, pick up the phone, call them, send them a text, let them know you're thinking about them, and make sure that they are okay. But again, I can't stress how important it is to never ever take any type of veiled threat or any type of the talk of suicide for granted. You always want to make sure that that person is okay.
Right. I remember some years ago, uh, it must have been a friend of a friend, someone I didn't even know. I was up at late at night, 11:30, 12 o'clock. They sent the most gloomiest text,
Mhm.
typing on Facebook, and I inboxed them, and I just started responding. And they said, I really appreciate you responding. It was very helpful. Don't be afraid to respond. I mean, it's a lot of times at nighttime, people on Facebook and
Mhm.
they're crying. That's their therapy. That's
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
therapeutic for them to reach out to Facebook. And if they out with hundreds and thousands, millions of people, and nobody said anything,
Mhm.
that just that just
Mhm.
magnified them.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. All the people,
Right.
not one person responded. So maybe you can be that one person that can make the difference. Sister Jamie said, I
Right.
want to share that grief is not only death. Grief comes with losing a job, like many moving out of state, breaking up in a relationship are real
Mhm.
profound.
Mhm.
Uh, Now losing your pet, it's true. And I
Mhm.
wrote a book coming out of walking out of shallow pain, and I talk about that. Uh,
Mhm.
you can you get your car or something that wherever you value, and you
Mhm.
lose that can cause grief. It could be anything. You're right on spot, says Jamie. We think of grieving as just a loss of a person. If you get laid off a job, you on a
That's
job,
right.
you expect to retire from this job, and all of a sudden, and it's kind of sad, really. Some of these companies made the company wait around to the holiday, and said we're gonna lay people off.
That's
To me,
cool.
it's almost cruelty,
Yeah.
and lay out people right before the holiday, and so that can be a source of a tremendous amount of grief. Again, if you're on here, please feel free to share it. It's Brown Janaya, I think I pronounced it right. Uh, I appreciate you sharing. Feel free to share and let us know what your thoughts are. Thank you for that, Sister Jamie. This is Howard says, people lose their hope. That's, and that's what happens. People, if they feel that no one's concerned and they're all isolated and they're all alone, and some people don't have family.
That's right.
Some people, have lost so many members. I talked to someone who told me that someone lost four members in a short period of time. I know a sister uh, here in Indianapolis. She lost about three relatives within a short period of time, and one of those was her husband. And I
Mm.
know it's a sad time for her. This will be the first Christmas without her husband, and so there's so many people that are hurting. And I think that we have to just reach out to them, give them a call, let them know I'm thinking about you. And you
Yeah.
don't even have to talk a long time. Just say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about you. Boom.
Yeah.
That means a world. Listen, we ran out of time. We have a few more minutes. If you have a comment, if you have a question, please feel free to share the question with Sister Carrie. What happens when someone constantly says they are going to uh, kill themselves for years? How do you reach them? That's a very good question. I'm going to let you answer this, Sister Jones.
So I would definitely recommend them getting professional help so they can be evaluated. I mean, is there some type of mood disorder, depression, bipolar, that is there that is making them have these constant suicidal thoughts? And then getting some therapy. Sometimes people have personality disorders, borderline personality disorder, where it's more of an attention thing. But I will say with borderline personality, sometimes people you know, do things for attention, but they actually end up finishing the job. So you have to be
Right.
careful. But just making sure that they get professional help. And sometimes in relationships, men or women will say, "I'm going to hurt myself" as a way of manipulating. Sometimes children do that with their parents. Anytime they want to instruct them with some type of disciplinary action, they're going to hurt themselves. So just making sure that you are evaluating the seriousness of the threat. But actually, I would always refer them to um, getting some help, because if you're not a mental health professional, you just never know that one time that they actually might be serious. But if somebody's threatening for years, and they sounds like they need some help. Sounds like they may have personality disorders that
Mm-hmm.
need to be addressed, or again, some mood disorders that haven't been addressed properly.
And and for certain, if a person's saying for years and years and years, there's some reason why they're saying that. I think one of the worst things you can do is a person who's been saying something like for years and years can get backed up in the corner. If you blow them off or you make them think that it's not real, they may in their mind, because they're not thinking clear. Well, I'm going to show them. Y'all don't think I'm serious. You think
Right.
and really you can push them to the point where they gonna have to show you that they're serious.
Mhm.
Even if they were not serious, if you don't take
Mhm.
them serious, because if they try and get attention, if it's and they're not getting your attention, then they're gonna escalate to try to find
Mhm.
a way to get your attention. So I think it's very important that you recommend some, like you said, recommend them to a therapist. Hey, maybe you need to get a therapist. Or you might have to say, I'm willing to go to therapy with you if that's what it takes. They used to be saying, take a friend to the doctor, take them to the mental health doctor if that's what it takes. Ms. Brown said, I remember working at the welfare office and a young lady came in with tears in her eyes, and she said, I just want to let you know when I leave from this office, I'm going to kill myself.
Mhm.
I immediately asked someone to cover my desk and asked if I can pray for her. We prayed. The next week, she came back and with the biggest smile on her face. Very good. I heard that. I heard a story of someone was telling me that someone said, I'm going to kill myself. And they didn't take them serious. And within an hour, they had committed suicide. So I'm glad
Wow.
that you at least reached out to her. Very
Yeah.
good. Sister Rose Max said, great time to show. If anyone is on the chat and you don't want to let us know you're hurting, you can also call the suicide line, which is 98.
That's,
Your calls are confidential. Very good. Thank you for sharing
thank
that with
you. Yes,
please,
absolutely.
please do that or reach out to someone.
Hmm.
Reach out to a friend, someone that you know that's concerned about you, but you don't have to suffer alone because um, your life is valuable. Everyone's life has value, it has meaning. Even if the enemy tells you that you don't care, sometimes you'd be surprised how much people care. I think sometimes it's
Mhm.
important that we just take the time to let people know that we care about them. Nothing wrong with telling somebody to love. Most of my friends, when I have fun, I say, I love you, male or female. I say, hey, love you. We don't show people that the value that they place in life. So how will they know if you don't show them? So take the time to let somebody know that you value them, you value the relationship, and you value their friendship. Mrs. Brown says,
Absolutely.
all glory belongs to God. You never know what people are going through. That is so true. So one of the greatest gifts through this holiday season is just the gift of love.
That's
We'll
right.
say, I would sing a song, y'all, but so what the world needs now is love, sweet love. But
That's right.
I'll pass up on singing it this time.
Yeah.
But if you really think about sincerity, that is, what people really need is love. Love covers a multitude of faults.
Right.
People need to
Exactly.
know love, to see love, and to experience it. And you can share the love with a smile, with a kind word. Those are ways that you can make brighten up somebody's holiday. So as we go into holiday season, let's focus on making somebody's holiday just a little bit brighter by giving them a smile, give them a note, let them know that you care about them. Please, again, I encourage you to share this broadcast on. I'm gonna tell you once again, don't go broke. Whoever you are out there,
That's right.
do not go broke. Now, you see, what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. He's saying, please sing. Is that what you're saying? Sometimes I have a hard time reading. Said, please sing. Thank you, this is your Alfred. If they want me, if you insist on me singing, I will sing. Um, Rose says, so if someone comes to you saying they are thinking about suicide and they confide in you, at what point should you or share the information with a family member and with that make? That's a very good question, Sister Jim. I'm going to let you respond to that because she said we deal with confidentiality, but one of the things that we do in counseling, one of the things is that you tell a person confidentiality. Anything you say is confidential unless it involves harm to yourself or someone else. So I'll let you address that right there.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So if someone has so there are there are passive suicidal thoughts. So that is, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I'd be okay with that. Or if this train hit me, I'm okay with that. And that sounds dramatic, but and so those are kind of passive. But then there are active suicidal thoughts. Yes, I'm having thoughts of hurting myself. I have a plan to hurt myself. I'm going to do XYZ, tonight, or I have the intention. Yes, I intend to hurt myself. So, and sometimes it's hard, for maybe a lay person to tell, but I would definitely, if someone has a plan or they say, yes, I plan on doing whatever, or they have the intention, I definitely would call and get them some help. And I also would stay with them depending on, how, if they're saying, yeah, as soon as you leave, I'm gonna, whatever, I would stay with them. I would not leave them until help arrives. So if someone has a plan or an intent to harm themselves, if you're not with them, send somebody over there, to be with them, while you guys, call 911. But if you can also just go over there and check on them, because some people, I mean, they mean business, and so,
Right.
and you never know.
And I would rather err on and show them concern than regret
Mhm.
not responding to them, and because there's a certain amount of guilt that the person who doesn't
Mhm.
respond, there's a
Mhm.
certain amount of guilt that they'll assume, if only I had done this or I had done
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Sister Jamie says people need love and God is love. So true. Thank you, Sister Jamie. Sister Rose
Mhm.
says, what about the HIPAA law?
Well, when you're talking about plan to harm yourself or others, then you need to call. That is, we have a duty to report when someone has a plan to harm themselves or others.
Yeah.
So the HIPAA law is for, I mean, we're not going to be telling somebody that, I don't know, they're depressed and, whatever, fill in the blank. But if someone has a plan to harm themselves or harm somebody else, we all have a duty to report that. So that is the time when we need to report that.
So true, so true. So if anyone has any questions, certainly we want you to. It's better safe than sorry. Let me see. I don't want to miss anything. It's my turn. Okay. If you see right here, Michelle Daly, MAK Apparel. That's the one who designed this T-shirt. Is my turn now. First sponsor. Let me see. Sister Wallen said, "Thank you both for sharing. God bless you. Thank you for sharing mandated reporting. Very good. She's telling the truth. She is actually, she's actually the one who's. And I hope I got your information down. She's the one that actually sponsored this beautiful T-shirt. I like that. Again, if anybody else wants to sponsor, let us know. I think it's good, and I like the T-shirt. I think again, if anyone has any comments, we're going to give about 60 seconds to any question or comment, and we're going to wrap this up. This is going to be the last program of 2023. So we won't see again till next year, 2024. So we're wrapping this up with a very serious discussion. Sometimes we throw a little humor in there, like when the district elder asked me not to sing. I'm sure he was just being humorous. I'm sure he probably enjoyed my singing. So we throw a little humor in there, but it's a very serious subject. We want to wrap up because not only as we think about Christmas, the New Year's, and there are a lot of emotions that are connected with going to New Year's, because sometimes people evaluate themselves and they say, I'm not where I wanted to be. This is not what my plans were. I thought I'd be further along in 2023, and 2024 comes, I'm in the same spot. You're not the same spot. As long as you're moving, you're going forward. So just, keep moving. Okay. So she says, yes, that's correct information. So you have her information. If you like this T-shirt and you like to have one, you have her email, and you have her email, and you can go from there. Bishop Cornelius Kim says, if someone is venting or talking about it to you, don't ignore them. Take note of it. Very good. Thank you for sharing that, Bishop. That's right. Don't listen. Don't take anything people say for granted. Don't take. I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna go a little step further. If I hear people who are venting about hurting someone, I'm gonna hurt someone else. Take that serious.
Right.
If they're talking about I'm gonna hurt you, don't blow it off. Take it serious. When people say things, you have to understand what's the source. Where is this coming from? Is this coming? And sometimes we just take it for lightly. But there's a number of men have told them, I'm gonna kill myself and kill you. Be aware. Don't take that for granted, because a lot of people are hurting, and when hurting people hurt other people. So let's see. Doris, thank you for the session. This has been very helpful. Okay, she said, okay. Okay. The ayes have it. Okay. Okay. Sister Jamie says, just hope the mental ones don't put fear in the officers, because many with mental issues have died. That's so true, Sister Jamie. I have a very good friend. Her son had a breakdown, and and they called the police, and they put him in a choker. They killed him. And I think we need to focus too on the mental health. And I think Sister Kelly, you can tell us a lot more about that. Maybe do it in another session. But we do need to put some. I think maybe that's a discussion to be had too. Dealing with mental health and police officers, and maybe I have to get a police officer on here. And so I will say this, right, going to 2023, we're going to go into more detail on some of the conversations that we've had, some very interesting discussion. But you're going to go further, and it's not my intent to offend anybody, but we're going to dig deeper into situations. We may have both sides, both sides. I may have a police officer, if I can get one on here that was involved in, someone being killed, and see what his thoughts are, see what
Right.
his frame of mind was. And so I may very well do that. And like I said, I'm gonna have to put disclaimer: views are not those associated with me, but I think it's important that we get the information out and that we hear both sides of the story. Sister Rose said, "What about a child when they can't have their way? They say they're going to kill themselves. Should you also take that serious?" I'll let you answer that first.
Y- Yes, you should take that serious. I have that situation today. With a child, a teenager. And so yes, you should take that serious, but also many times that's manipulation, and that child needs to be in therapy to see, what the real issues are and why they are manipulating the parents. Because as parents, our duty is to keep our children safe. So if our children are saying they want to unalive themselves and hurt themselves in any way, we need to get them help. Um, and work on those manipulative behaviors, because that's not acceptable either. I mean, you can't say you're going to hurt yourself because I told you to clean your room or I took away the phone.
Mhm.
And learning healthy coping strategies for children. So, you know, find out what the child likes, and so just maybe they like singing, or maybe they like crafts or something, but to work on those healthy coping mechanisms every single day, so that they become a part of that child's routine, so that when they get stressed, that they are not falling to self-harm behaviors. Because a lot of these children nowadays, they just are not they don't have coping skills. I don't want to, they're just, not maybe as strong as we were. They just do not know how to cope. And so we have to, show them those coping ways and those effective coping skills, so that they don't, resort to those ineffective coping skills. And sometimes some of that stuff is, learned behavior. What are, you as a parent teaching them? What boundaries are you setting? What boundaries are you allowing to, go away? So sometimes it's parenting as well that needs to be looked at. So, but I would not allow a child to manipulate me in that way. That child needs help, and then also gets in some family therapy so you can learn how to deal with that.
And also, you have to realize kids, their emotional level is not totally developed at a young age. And there are higher suicide kids, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, committing suicide. And so, with their emotional level not being developed, and not having proper conflict resolution skills, because our parents, a lot of our parents were a little more subtle, a little more settled, but now these parents are off the chain. Their parents and kids are modeling the behavior they see of their parents, and
Mhm.
parents can't take anything. Parents don't know how to deal with things. They go off, and if the kids feel like they may feel like they have no other choice, they may feel like they're hurting. And so I would have a sit down on top of that child and say, when you say you're gonna kill yourself, tell me about that. Why is it that you want to kill yourself? What is it that you think will happen if you commit yourself? And just have that conversation. That's a beginning point, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Sister Norris, I pray your guests, all the watchers, have a blessed Christmas. Thank you, Dr. Walden, for all your programs this year. Thank you. Appreciate that. I appreciate you supporting each and every one of the program. Appreciate everyone that support. Rose Max, yes, this is so true. My 17-year-old said this one the other day. I still would not take it for granted. That's so true. And I don't think people understand the amount of pressure these kids have. I mean, we
Mhm.
deal with pressure. Grown folks have pressure, but man, these kids they don't have the emotional capacity oftentimes to deal with the smallest little things. And
Mhm.
so we need to be sensitive to that. But listen, I appreciate everyone, your comments. Uh, you know, your comments. Appreciate everything you've done in 2023, and make this program the success of what it is. I enjoy it every week. I've enjoyed the comments. It is only what it is because of you and the outstanding guests such as you, Sister Jones. And I'm wishing everyone a very, very pleasant holiday. I'm gonna try to answer these two more, and then we're gonna try to wrap it up. It's very true. No coping skills. We are starting to journal our feelings. Very good. Talk
Mm,
about those
mm,
feelings. Journal. Talk
yes.
about it. Get some eggnog and let's some eggnog. Let's talk about it. Tell me what's on your mind. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Something simple that can make a world difference. I believe that much of this social media, different family dynamics, and most important, the lack of a relationship with the Lord. That is so
That's
so
right.
true. Have the
That's
best holiday, best Christmas you ever had. You know, you may have someone missing at the plate, but just recognize them. Just say, hey, we love them, we miss them,
Mhm.
and I always feel like this right here. The loved ones that are gone, they would not want us to be sad. They would want us
That's
to,
right.
to enjoy ourselves.
That's
And I
right.
think about that with my sister, other family members who are on. I know they will want us to have the best holiday season ever. So we thank you once again. Do you have want to give you some final words?
Yes. So this is the end of the year, and I want you to think as we are going into the end of the year to just reflect on the good things that happened this year. If there's some points and places that you can grow, I want you to reflect on them as well as you wrap up this year. In a couple of weeks, it'll be a brand new year, but make sure you are connecting with people. Make sure you are loving yourself, doing your self care, taking care of yourself, and so that you can have love to pour out and to give to other people and stay connected.
Very good. That's true. Self care. You can't take care of anybody else. You don't take care of yourself. Make
Mhm.
sure that you don't stress yourself out. I'm gonna go ahead. I like what Sister Rose is saying. Say keep Christ in Christmas. I think
That's
that's what you say, and should be Jesus is the reason for the season. It's not about the gifts. It's not about everything else. It's
right.
about recognizing Jesus and His birth. We love you. Don't forget to share this right here. Share this program. Share your thoughts, even when it goes off the air. A lot of times people come on and give comments. If you enjoyed our guest, let her know. Send some hearts and love. Say, I enjoyed it. You did a fantastic job. Give you a hand clap. You did a tremendous job. I told her I've only had 3 guests on here 3 times, and she made it the last year. She is the third person who ever had a guest on the show 3 times. So you made it great, and we appreciate each time you've been fantastic. So thank you. Okay, they're saying they send some hearts up for you. Keep on
Okay.
sending us hearts.
Thank
Let her know you appreciate it. We may have to get you on here for. So we'll see who will be the first guest that we'll have on here for the 4th time. But we
you.
appreciate the invaluable information. The information you give us is so important. We can't even put a price tag on it. So good. God bless y'all. We love you. Have a very, very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and be thankful and be blessed. Be prayerful. We love you, and God bless you. Thank